Peace. What's going on, everybody? Bobby, what's going on with you, my brother? Give everybody a chance to tap on in with me, man, before I start building on it. DM Peace, what's going on? Most definitely. Most definitely. One of those simple subjects, man, that goes under the radar. A lot of people overlook the importance of breathing, of proper breathing. A lot of us take breathing for granted. So that's why I felt like I needed to make this particular video, man. There's some small things that we probably do that we are unaware of in regards to breathing that negatively impact us or negatively affect us. So I need to touch on some of those things, man, so we can get our breathing in order and get our health in order. Anaya, Peace Queen, what's going on? Andronicus, peace, what's going on? Breathing is one of those things like drinking water, man. It's like it's something that you know is necessary, man, but we don't really like embrace it like we should. Like water is essential, and oxygen, like air, is essential as well. Like I say, man, you can go longer without food than you can without water. But how long can you survive without that oxygen? How long can you survive without that oxygen? That's important. So it goes food, water, oxygen. So it's like we need to place more of an emphasis on correct breathing. And a lot of us breathe incorrectly, and a lot of us probably suffer from certain ailments. Oh, Shane, Redbird, peace. What's going on? Magic Realms, peace. Sweet Tea, what's going on? A lot of us suffer from some simple ailments that could be the result of improper breathing. One of the main things is just lethargy, just being tired, fatigue. The main reason why you are tired right now can have a lot to do with the way that you are breathing, especially while you are asleep. We know about things like sleep apnea. And if you are utilizing your mouth to breathe, you are doing it incorrectly. If you sleep with your mouth open, that's bad. That's detrimental to your health. That's why you are waking up extra tired, extra fatigued. So that's why some people can seem like they get enough hours of sleep, but the quality of sleep is garbage. So if you're getting 8 or 9 hours of sleep and you still wake up and you feeling fatigued, it could be that you are sleeping with your mouth open. So a lot of times I hear people say, man, I'm getting enough sleep, but I'm still waking up tired. I'm like, man, do you sleep with your mouth open? If 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. So you can get plenty of sleep, man, but if the quality of sleep is not necessarily good, you're not going to reap the benefits of the hours of sleep that you are getting. Lindell, peace. What's going on? Yeah, Magic Realms. Chest breathing is terrible. Chest breathing is terrible. That's why the first thing you got to get people to focus on is breathing with the nose, utilizing the nose to breathe instead of the mouth. You know how we have been trained to breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Like, nah, all the breathing should take place via the nose. Even when you are doing some rigorous exercise, when you are exercising, breathe through the nose. I can tell you, when I mastered that, it made everything a lot more smoother for me when it came to like exercising and fitness. Do not utilize your mouth to breathe. I don't care what you are doing. Breathe through the nose, out the nose. I guarantee you that's going to take everything to the next level for you as far as like exercise and fitness and all of that. Just learning how to do it. Learning how to master nasal breathing. Marcus, what's going on with you? David, Michelle, peace, what's going on? Oh, Shane, all the time. And for the most part, a lot of people, especially when it comes to exercise, and a lot of people do not breathe correctly at all. That's why and man, it's a lot of terrible things that we do while breathing. But the main thing that we do that's incorrect when it comes to breathing and exercising, the main thing that we do is we take that deep breath. Y'all know that deep breath that I'm talking about, that deep breath that everybody can hear. That is terrible. That is toxic. That's detrimental, especially if you continue to do it over time. That is doing way more harm than good. And somebody then lied to you telling you that you are getting more oxygen into the system when you take that deep breath. That is incorrect. Has something to do with like oxygen saturation. Very incorrect. Stop taking that deep breath that everybody can hear while you are tired. That is detrimental, and that's causing more damage. causing more damage. That is not helping you in any way, shape, or form. The only thing that does sometimes is feel good when you take that deep breath, but it's not actually beneficial for you to take that deep breath, man. Y'all know the deep breath that I'm talking about. Even when you sigh continuously, that's negative. That's detrimental, especially if you consistently do it over time. Y'all know the deep sighs that I'm talking about, where everybody can hear you. They say breathe light, breathe right. So you should be doing light breathing. Even when you take a deep breath, the deep breath can be light to the point where nobody hears it. You shouldn't even hear it. You should not hear yourself breathing. Breathe light, breathe right. That's something that people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand that, man. That deep breath is so unnecessary. And like I said, it's not necessarily healthy and it's not necessarily beneficial. So stop doing that to yourself. When you are tired, once again, focus, regroup through the nose, out the nose, nasal breathing. Justin Peace, what's going on? TZ Frank, what's going on? Magic Realms, yeah, and diaphragm breathing, what you would once realize is, again, that's just nasal breathing. That's like you just mastering that. You focusing on mastering that nasal breathing. And a lot of people, and now I can just break down some of the science because I feel like I'd have been, it was 6 minutes, we 6 minutes in, so I could break down some of the science. So when it comes to breathing, a lot of us already know about oxygen. So we know the importance of oxygen. But what goes under the radar when it comes to breathing is carbon dioxide. We know that we're supposed to release a certain amount of carbon dioxide when we breathe. But guess what? We are also supposed to retain a certain level of carbon dioxide during the whole breathing process. And that certain amount of carbon dioxide that we retain is the key to getting the oxygen to your tissues, your cells, your muscles, et cetera, et cetera. And once you get the oxygen to the tissues, muscle cells, et cetera, then you are now allowing the oxygen to do its job, supplying you with the energy that you need to get through your day. But if you do not retain that certain amount of carbon dioxide, then you will hold on to the oxygen and the oxygen will not be released to the cells, to the muscles, to the tissues. That's not what you want. When the oxygen is not released to the cells and tissues, now that's when you suffer from the fatigue, lack of energy, the headaches, the lightheadedness that you may feel when you are working out. That's all of that. When you feeling lightheaded, when you feeling like you're about to pass out while you're working out, that's because that carbon dioxide, you're releasing too much of the carbon dioxide. So therefore, now your body holding on to that oxygen instead of releasing it to the cells, the muscles, and the tissues. That's where the lightheadedness comes from. And when you take that deep breath, you are releasing too much carbon dioxide. You're not retaining enough of the carbon dioxide. So that's why the deep breath is detrimental. And that's why the deep breath is incorrect, because you are getting rid of too much carbon dioxide. Like I said, you need to retain a certain amount. Again, we already know they done taught us about the process of breathing and to eliminate carbon dioxide, but they failed to emphasize the importance of retaining a certain amount of the carbon dioxide as well, which is very crucial for the oxygen to fulfill its duty. So that's the science about that, man. That's the science about the carbon dioxide and the oxygen relationship, man. So you want to make sure you're breathing in a way in which you are retaining enough carbon dioxide. And the easy way to do that, like I said, is nasal breathing, man. When you open that mouth, when you take those deep breaths and utilize the mouth to breathe, you're going to expel, you're going to get rid of too much carbon dioxide. And that's what causes that feeling of lethargy and just feeling fatigued, not having enough energy. That's a simple science. It's real simple. It's real simple. And they have a lot of techniques as well, too, in regards to mastering breathing, and just improving upon your breathing. They got something in the book that I was reading that I recommended a few streams ago called the Oxygen Advantage. He has what he calls a BOLT score, and that's BOLT, BOLT score. And how you go about doing this is like a test that you must do. And this is the way the test goes. Basically, The best time to do this is when you wake up. So as soon as you wake up, what you want to do is you pretty much want to cover your nose, and that's basically holding your breath. So you want to cover your nose, and you want to hold your nose until you get the desire to breathe. Notice, till you get the desire to breathe. This is the test. You're not doing it to see how long you can hold your breath. You are doing this test to see how long it takes for you to get the urge or the desire to breathe. So as soon as you get the desire or the urge to breathe, you release the nose. So you're not waking up trying to see how long you can hold your breath. That's not the key. That's not what we're doing. We seeing how long it takes for you to get the urge or the desire. The first strong desire you get to breathe. The first strong desire you get to breathe. Let the nose go. And they say, he said in this book, an ideal score for that is to be able to do it for 40 seconds. But he say for the most part, when people first undergo this test, they are only able to do it for like maybe 12 seconds or so. And you want to work your way up to get to 20 seconds. And then from that 20 seconds, you want to get up to 40 seconds. But the test is real simple. As soon as you wake up in the morning, boom, I think you inhale, you exhale, and then boom, you pinch the nose. And then you see how long it takes for you to get that first desire to breathe. As soon as you get that first desire to breathe, let the nose go. So you want to see how high your score. Like the higher the score, the better. The lower the score means you got a lot of work to do. So that's called the boat score, man. And that, hold on, static piece. What's going on? What's going on? TZ, the book, Oxygen Advantage, right here. The Oxygen Advantage. Pretty decent book, man. Pretty decent book. One of the best books I recommend on breathing and things of that nature. But that boat score, man, definitely want to undergo that test, man. You wake up in the morning, man, boom, pinch that nose and see how long it takes for you to get that desire to breathe. That first desire, that first strong desire you get to breathe, let the nose go, jot that score down. Montel, peace, what's going on? Lindell, funny that you mentioned swimming and swimmers, holding of the breath. He mentions that in this book with the breath hold techniques, man. And that is utilized to improve one's breathing. And it's like a simulation for high altitude training. So for the people that are not in areas where they in the high altitude areas, then they have to do the breath holding techniques. And he talks very highly about those in the book, being harmless and actually being beneficial to one's health. So he recommends doing a lot of those breath holding techniques. Matter of fact, he recommends one in the book. I'll go find it real quick. I'm gonna go find the little technique that he recommends in this particular book. You see if I can find it, man. I know I got a bunch of things highlighted in this particular book, man. I got a few other books on breathing too, but this is one of the best ones that I recommend. All right, here we go. This is I think this is the breath hold technique that he was talking about. So I'll read to you all this little practice here. It say walk and hold. After a minute of continuous walking, gently exhale and pinch your nose to hold your breath. If you feel uncomfortable pinching your nose while walking in public, you can simply hold your breath without holding your nose. Continue to walk while holding your breath until you feel a medium to strong air shortage. Release your nose, inhale through it, and minimize your breathing by taking very short breaths for about 15 seconds. Then allow your breathing to return to normal. Continue walking for 30 seconds and repeat. So continue walking for around 30 seconds while breathing through your nose, then gently exhale and pinch your nose with your fingers. Walk while holding the breath until you feel medium to strong hunger for air. Release your nose and minimize your breathing by taking short breaths in and out through your nose for about 15 seconds and allow your breathing to revert to normal. Then repeat breath holds 8 to 10 times. So this is the breath hold technique, man, that he recommends. And this will take your level of fitness to the next level, man. It'll help you master the art of breathing while you're exercising, master the art of breathing while you're working out. And what a lot of people don't realize, man, breathing in and of itself, just learning how to properly breathe in and of itself, gonna make your workouts a lot more bearable. A lot of people can't get through workouts properly because they just don't know how to breathe, especially when it comes to like running or something dealing with endurance, man. A lot of people can't stomach endurance type of activities because they don't know the proper way to breathe. So once you learn how to breathe properly, man, that's just gonna make life a lot easier for you. So I definitely recommend doing some of the breath hold techniques in this book once you get it, because I definitely recommend all of you get this book. Okay, O'Shane, good question there. You say what herbs, matter of fact, we put that on screen. What herbs you recommend help clear the lungs for better breathing? I come equipped with the sources here. So I'm going to go straight to one of my sources here, because we deal with that. We'll be dealing with asthma here. So we're going to go right. And we're going to go right to the herbs. So, O'Shane, I got you. You say, what herbs do you recommend to help clear the lungs for better breathing? Alfalfa is one of the herbs that we recommend. Ginseng is one of the herbs that we recommend. Golden seal, that's another herb that we recommend. Marjoram is also good. Another herb that we recommend. You got chickweed. It's another herb that we recommend. Coat's foot. It's another herb that we recommend. Chamomile is also a solid herb that we would recommend. So those are all pretty good herbs that we would recommend for better breathing. Then if you're looking for certain foods that you can consume to help with the breathing, you got watercress is pretty good. Parsley, garlic, cucumbers, celery. Those are also good foods that help with better breathing. So I hope that answered the question there, O'Shane, man. Look to get into them herbs and then consume those foods. Self-peace, what's going on? Red Bird, right on for the donation. You say, I heard proper breathing helps the speaking voice also. Oh, no doubt, breath control. Like even just look at like rappers and entertainers. Like that's breath control. That's breath control. You master the art of breathing, man. You become a better MC. You become a better speaker. You become all of that. You become all of that. And then another thing too, this is another thing that was important that they broke down in this book that made a lot of sense to me. It actually explained why I feel so drained when I was definitely working in corporate America. But he broke down why you can feel so drained after having spent 8 or 9 hours of your day communicating with the public. They talked about just having a talk throughout the day can drain you because of the way you are forced to breathe while you are having to consistently or constantly talk. So when they broke that down, I was like, okay. I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, because when you are having to talk throughout the day, obviously you're not really able to breathe the proper way that you need to breathe. And that's what leads to you feeling drained after you've been communicating with people all throughout the day. Breaks it down in this book. I was like, man, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Matter of fact, I actually want to see if I can find that portion in his book just so I can read it verbatim. Man, let me see if I can find that, man, because that was such a jewel, man. I was like, hold on. That was a jewel, man. When they talked about just having to talk throughout the day, man, and just how that drains you. Like literally. It literally drains you because you are forced to breathe in a way that's not necessarily natural and normal. So it really does not encourage you to do excessive talking. So I want to see if I can find it, man. I got a lot of things highlighted here. Let me see if I can find it, man. I don't know. Man, it's a lot of exercise in this book too that I might have to read to y'all, you know what I'm saying? So y'all can practice some of these exercises and whatnot. Definitely trying to find when they was talking about Just communicate with people, man. Let me see if I can find it, man, because that was a jewel, man. I feel like y'all need to hear that. Y'all need to hear that part, man. I really feel like it'll do y'all some good, man. But I mean, exactly what I said is essentially what it said in the book, man. Just you having to communicate with people throughout the day drains you because you are forced to breathe in a way that's unnatural. And now that makes sense. That makes sense as to why I would spend 8 or 9 hours throughout my day communicating with the public, and then I just walk away feeling drained. I thought it was just because I wasn't necessarily too fond of people. Nah, it's literally the way that you having to breathe. Like you shouldn't be talking to people 8 or 9 hours throughout the day, man. That's draining. That's literally draining. Self, and most definitely, breath control during anything is important. Honestly, just breathing is important. Period. No matter what the action is or the act that you are indulging in, breathing is important. So I don't care what it is that we are indulging in. Proper breathing is important. No matter the act that we are indulging in, we need to learn how to breathe properly. That is important. So we always need to take it back to the breath, man. We always need to focus on the breathing. And that's the best way to go about mastering your breathing. Focusing on it. Focusing on it. Freezing the game. You already know. Yeah, the gut, the second brain. Really, in my opinion, all of it is the same brain. So I don't even think we have a first or second brain. It's all really just one. So I don't even feel like we got a first brain, second brain, third brain. We got one brain. All of it is connected to this one brain. So it's all one brain at the end of the day. So that's how I'm starting to look at everything, man, just from that holistic point of view. It's all one brain. It's all part of that same mind. It's all part of that same system. So it's all one to me. It's all one to me, man. I came across another practice, man, that they recommended. But then I also, too, I want to break down that BOLT, that BOLT exercise or whatever that he was talking about. I just want to break it down straight from the book, man. I broke it down just kind of off the top of my head, but I want to give it straight from the book, though. Straight from the book. This is the way you do. It's called the body oxygen level test. That's what BOLT actually stands for. He said BOLT differs from other breath hold tests because it represents the length of time until the first definite desire to breathe. So that's what the BOLT test is about. It represents the length of time until the first definite desire to breathe. So it's not how long you can hold your breath. It's until you get that first definite desire to breathe. And then again, I just told y'all, in short, the lower the BOLT score, the greater the breathing volume. And the greater your breathing volume, the more breathlessness you will experience during exercise. So you want to have a higher score. And he says you should aim for about 40 seconds. And then this is the way that you conduct the BOLT test. So it's like take a normal breath in through your nose and allow a normal breath out through your nose. Hold your nose with your fingers to prevent air from entering your lungs. Time the number of seconds until you feel the first definite desire to breathe, or the first stresses of your body urging you to breathe. These sensations may include the need to swallow or a constriction of the airways. You may also feel the first involuntary contractions of your breathing muscles in your abdomen or throat as the body gives the message to resume breathing. Note that BOLT is not a measurement of how long you can hold your breath, but simply the time it takes for your body to react to a lack of air. Release your nose, stop the timer, and breathe in through your nose. Your inhalation at the end of the breath hold should be calm. Resume normal breathing. So that's how you conduct this BOLT test. That is how you conduct the BOLT test. And like I said, they said you should aim to get 40 seconds. Now, initially, when you first do it, score probably going to be low, score probably going to be trash. But that's the point. That is the entire point. Yeah, self, man. A lot of people, man, when you sit down and actually focus on your breathing, a lot of people start to realize that they breathe incorrectly. I know I do it. I catch myself from time to time, man. Like they say, breathe light, breathe right. So it's light breathing, man. You should not, the person around you shouldn't hear you breathing, and you should not hear yourself breathing. If you hear yourself breathing, if somebody else hears you breathing, it's wrong. You breathing incorrectly. You are breathing incorrectly. DM, man, and this is for my people battling that anxiety, man, because I'm one of them. So that's why I'm always constantly focusing on my breathing, because I'm always trying to get it to calm down. Dominique, peace, what's going on? Yeah, Magic Realms, man, and that's why they tell people, man, do not indulge in mindless chatter. It's literally draining, literally. Our original one, most definitely, and that's natural. That's natural. That's when you're supposed to calm yourself down, focus on that breathing, and get it right. Get it right. Oh, David, man, hey, I recommend anybody do any type of fasting. I'm always recommending fasting. Matter of fact, it's crazy, man. Y'all speaking about things. I got stuff right here. Matter of fact, got this joint right here. The Science and Fine Art of Fasting. And Fine Arts of Fasting. This is one of them original books on fasting. It's an old book on fasting, man. So this is a nice little book on fasting. So I got the fasting jewel right there. So get your fasting in, most definitely. Most definitely. Oh, freezing the game. That ain't nothing you gotta feel like you are that. So it ain't even a feeling. It's a reality. You ain't even gotta feel it, man. What we call living mathematics. So that's an actual fact. So you ain't gotta be feeling like that's what you are. That's exactly what you are by nature. You was born that. D, what's going on? Freezing the game, yeah. Hey, the monks and the Buddhists, man, they definitely focus a lot on breathing, man. That's one thing I can respect about them. But it's real simple things, man, in life, like breathing, like drinking the proper amount of water, man. Like those two things right there. Just learning how to breathe properly and drinking the proper amount of water, man, can save your life. But those are two things that we neglect and take for granted. Dominique, peace, my brother, man. Peace to the brother as well. Self, no doubt, man. You know, I'm always recommending some books, but definitely get this book, The Science and Fine Arts of Fasting, though. Definitely get that book, man. Fasting is always something that I recommend, so definitely get that book. Freezing game, man. Freezing the game. Put anything down that's gonna hinder your elevation, man. Hinder your strength. Hinder your endurance, man. Put anything down that's gonna hinder that. Anything down. Oh, D, you already know. You already know. And y'all heard me talk about that boat score though, and I want to read some things that they said to do to increase your boat score. He gave a few things that he recommended that we do to increase that score. So let me read that to you. All right. So it said stop losses of carbon dioxide. How do you stop the losses of carbon dioxide? Say breathe through your nose day and night. Stop sighing. Okay. Instead, swallow or suppress the sigh. One sigh taken every few minutes is enough to maintain chronic overbreathing. I'm gonna repeat that, man, because it's important. This is important, especially for those of us dealing with anxiety and things like that and stress. Stop sighing. Instead, swallow or suppress the sigh. One sigh taken every few minutes is enough to maintain chronic overbreathing. So it is necessary to counteract the sigh by swallowing or holding the breath. If you notice your sighs only after they have taken place, then hold your breath for 10 to 15 seconds to help compensate for the loss of carbon dioxide. So that's important, man. We got to stop sighing out here. So when you catch yourself sighing, man, say swallow or suppress the sigh. Hold your breath or swallow. All right. Number 3, avoid taking big breaths when yawning or talking. This is important. Avoid taking big breaths when yawning or talking. Individuals with a low boat score are often tired and yawn frequently throughout the day. Try not to take in a large breath during a yawn. Likewise, individuals who talk for a living need to be aware that their breathing should not be heard during talking. It's important. Likewise, individuals who talk for a living need to be aware that their breathing should not be heard during talking. So it's important to focus on that. If you find that you can hear your breathing during talking, then it is better to slow down the speed of your talking, use shorter sentences, and take a gentle breath through your nose between each sentence. So that's important. I'm going to read that again, man. I'm going to read that again. Individuals who talk for a living need to be aware that their breathing should not be heard during talking. If you find that you can hear your breathing during talking, then it is better to slow down the speed of your talking, use shorter sentences, and take a gentle breath through your nose between each sentence. So that's important. Observe your breathing throughout the day. Good breathing during rest should not be seen or heard. It's important. Good breathing during rest should not be seen or heard. So when you're resting, your breathing should not be seen or heard. And I know y'all have been around people, and you may be people, where you can hear and you can see the breathing. Breathing should not be seen or heard. So we gotta follow those steps, man, to improve that boat score. Because I guarantee you, when you do that little boat test, initially your score gonna be very low. So those things that I mentioned, man, are very important, man, and they could just help you in life, in general. Terenzo, peace. What's going on? Freezing the game, man. No day. Library. I'm listen. I'm striving to get every book that was ever created. You know how our ancestors did. They had the library that they burned down. I'm striving to rebuild that library. I'm striving to rebuild it. You get lost in these books, man. It's a lot of jewels, a lot of information in these books, man. They try to hide things from us in these books. These books hold a lot of tools, a lot of jewels, man. A lot of jewels, a lot of tools. So I'm always digging, man. I'm always trying to uncover the truth, the reality via these books, man. So I'm always getting my study on. That's why you'll never hear me say something like I'm bored. Too much information out here. Too much to be learned for me to be talking about I'm bored. No, that's emphatically no. Indeed, now some people literally just have a high-pitched voice. So that's not necessarily a sign of improper breathing. Now, if a person doesn't normally or naturally have that high-pitched voice, then it can be that. You know, that adrenaline rushing. You know, your voice cracking and things like that, then you definitely need to calm down at that point. So if you don't normally or naturally have that high-pitched voice and it becomes cracked, then yeah, your breathing is probably out of control. Yeah, magic rims. People don't understand that, man. People do not understand. People do not understand just preserving energy via just not talking a lot, not talking too much. There is a such thing as talking too much. Literally, there is a such thing. So people don't understand that just by reserving your words, you are actually preserving your energy. People don't understand that, man. You done been talking your whole day, and you wonder why you so drained. You wonder why you so tired. See, a lot of times, man, like I said, we overlook small things. We start focusing on things, and rightfully so. We start focusing on things like what we ate. Like, man, what did I eat today, man? Why am I feeling so tired, man? The reason why you're tired, it could be because you're talking too much. It could be because you're breathing incorrectly. It could be because you didn't drink enough water. But see, we don't go to those things immediately. We don't. Matter of fact, we don't go to those things at all. You may touch on water, but you are never going to attribute you talking too much or you breathing incorrectly to any problem, because we take breathing for granted. We take breathing for granted, man. We take it for granted. Ooh, Lindell. Ooh, and I'm gonna go right to the source here. Glad we mentioned hyperventilation. Glad we mentioned it. I'm gonna go right to it real quick. Hold on. I'm finna go right to it, man, because he talked about it in this particular book. Y'all know I like to go to the source here, or the source is. So hold on. Let me pull it up real quick. Give me a second on it. Because he talked about hyperventilation a few times in this joint. Hold up. We go right to it, man. Let me go ahead and read this real quick. Let me find it. All right, so we're gonna break down. All right, we're gonna break down chronic hyperventilation. All right, we're gonna break it down real quick. Chronic hyperventilation, or overbreathing, simply means the habit of breathing a volume of air greater than that which your body requires. It does not necessarily manifest as dramatic symptoms, such as the panting a person might experience during a panic attack. When we breathe in excess of what we require, too much carbon dioxide is exhaled from the lungs and hence is removed from the blood. It forces that door to a more closed position, making it harder for oxygen to pass through. Breathing too much for short periods of time is not a significant problem, as no permanent change in the body occurs. However, when we breathe too much over an extended period of days to weeks, a biochemical change takes place inside us that results in an increased sensitivity or lower tolerance to carbon dioxide. With this lower set point, breathing volume remains above normal as the receptors in the brain continuously stimulate breathing in order to get rid of carbon dioxide that is perceived to be in excess of the receptor's program limits. The result is the habit of chronic overbreathing or chronic hyperventilation with all its negative manifestations. In other words, certain circumstances can train our body to breathe in such a way that goes against its own interests. To counteract these bad habits, you must retrain yourself to breathe better. And Lindell, to answer that question about high blood pressure, it definitely can lead to that. Hyperventilation, chronic overbreathing can definitely, not only can it lead to high blood pressure, but guess what? It can also lead to obesity and being overweight. Why do I say that? Because when you start overbreathing repeatedly, then guess what? You're going to end up stressed out. And what do we do a lot of times when we stressed out? We eat. We are emotional eaters. So that chronic overbreathing, that hyperventilation, when you do it over time, it can lead to you not only having high blood pressure, but it can lead to a multitude of a lot of other ailments and diseases simply because it's going to cause stress. So a lot of us, we deal with stress differently, but a lot of people are stress eaters. So when you are overbreathing repeatedly, excessively, over time, it can lead to obesity, it can lead to high blood pressure and a lot of other diseases and ailments. Because again, it's a stressor, it's causing stress. And a lot of people, when they are stressed out, one of the first things a lot of people run to is food. And it's not necessarily the best food. So when we run to those negative foods, man, you can be getting diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, all of that. So most definitely. So the hyperventilation can definitely lead to high blood pressure over time. 1000%. D, you say you notice when you slow down and don't go too fast. My voice has a lot more bass and feels fuller. That's why I was wondering. Oh, most definitely. When you like slow it down, you're gonna be a little more mellow. Gonna be a little more mellow, a little more deeper. For the most part, a lot of times too, like that high pitched voice, like you said, it's just talking too fast. Talking too fast. Like slow down. Slow it down. Like sometimes that's the best if I just slow it down. Oh, Jay Valen, hey, Jay, man, a lot of people have this problem. A lot of people don't know they have a problem when it comes to breathing. Savon, peace, what's going on? Freezing the game, man, that's one thing I had to learn too. And I'm glad I learned it. Just pausing. Like pausing is cool. Like just, you don't have to respond right away. Pause. Even when you like mid-sentence, man, and you just like fumble a word, stop, pause, gather your thoughts, then complete the sentence. There's nothing wrong with pausing. There's nothing wrong with stopping. There's nothing wrong with gathering your thoughts before you respond. There's nothing wrong with gathering your thoughts mid-sentence. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. Doesn't make you sound slow or anything like that, man. You got to stop worrying about how people are perceiving you. You need to make sure you're doing everything properly. It's all about proper form. It's all about proper technique. So we trying to live a nice quality life here. We not trying to do things to please other people. No, I'm going to get my point across the way I need to get this point across. I'm not about to rush it because I need for you to thoroughly hear what I'm saying. So I'm not going to speed through it. I'm going to get all my points out because I'm going to think before I speak. A lot of times we not thinking before we speak. And that's also important. Just simply thinking before you speak, man, that can help you with breathing as well. Travian, man, being on, like, listen, these devices, man, just being around technology, period. All of that is draining. All of that zaps energy out of it. All of it. None of this stuff really supplies us with energy, man. It drains us. It drains us, man. It drains us. Especially the time that we commit to all of this stuff, man. We commit a lot of time to social media. We commit a lot of time to our cell phones and all these other devices. And a lot of times, man, it's time that is wasted, to be honest, man. I'll be honest, man. It's plenty of times where I find myself just scrolling. Next thing you know, 10 minutes then passed, and I didn't do anything but just scroll and look at stuff that was irrelevant, that was not important. So it's easy to catch yourself in one of those situations, man, where you just scrolling, 10 minutes then pass. Like, man, what did I just do with this 10 minutes? Absolutely nothing, man. So we just got to use our time wisely, man. We got to be a lot more efficient with our time. And that's just one thing that I'm realizing, and I'm definitely working on it, man. You got to make every second count, literally. Because UGK, man, I was listening to UGK, man, and the song came on, one day. One day you hear and now you're gone. That's literally how life happens, man. Literally. One day you will be here, and then like one moment you will be here. Then the next second you're not. So it's like that's literally how life is, man. So I'm trying to be a lot more efficient with my time, with that understanding being understood. So I'm just making the most or making the best of the time that I have. And I suggest everybody else do the same, man, because you just never know. You just never know. That's one thing that we can literally say we never know. You just never know what'll happen. Never know. As much power and control that we try to exercise over this thing called life, at the end of the day, is really still unpredictable. It's really still unpredictable, man, when it comes to things like that, man. You're gonna get hit with a lot. And when it's your time to go, like that's gonna be a time that you're not really able to predict. So that's why I say, man, just utilize the time that you have on this planet wisely, man. Make every second count, make every second matter, literally. Stop wasting that time, because you're not able to get that time back, man. When you waste that 10 minutes scrolling on the phone, you can't get that 10 minutes back. You did it. Like, you scrolled on that phone for 10 minutes and you didn't learn anything. You just wasted time. Can't get it back. Only thing you can do is focus on the next 10 minutes. That's it. DM, most definitely. Your breathing, man, just impacts everything. Your breathing impacts everything. Freezing the game. And then, I mean, I one thing I left out. I said breathing. I said water. But I left out rest. And not even sleep, just rest. Like, just resting. Like, it's a difference between just resting and sleep. Like, just relaxing, man, just resting your body. Like, we definitely neglect that. We definitely neglect just resting the body, resting the mind, mindfulness, stillness, like just being present in the moment, what they would call meditate. One of the best things that you can do for yourself, man. But it's just like, again, Bruce Lee talked about emptying the cup. But that's what it means to just like rest, man. Just empty the mind, man. Have that period during the day where you empty the mind. You free of all thoughts. You free of all judgments, all biases, man. and you just letting everything flow. You letting everything come and go like it naturally would do, instead of you stopping it and making something a problem or making something bigger than it really is. Just allow the thoughts to come and go. Like you should have a period throughout the day where you do this, man. Like that's resting. That's important. Like the mind, the mental, it needs that. That's why a lot of us are suffering from a lot of these mental conditions, because we don't have that period where we unload mentally, or what they would call deload, man, to where we just take it easy when it comes to the mind, man. A lot of times, man, we just sitting around, we thinking too much. We thinking way too much, man. Sometimes it's best to just not think at all. Like sometimes it's best to just not think at all, man, and just sit. Just sit and again, focus on the breathing. You don't have to entertain any type of thought. Just focus on the breathing. Give your mind a break, man. We talk about giving the digestive system a break. Give the mind, give the brain a break. Stop overworking the brain. So give the brain a break, man. Just meditate. Give that brain a chance to relax. Give that brain a chance to rest. That is important. That is important. So y'all know the importance of fasting to give the digestive system a break, man. But we need to fast from thinking from time to time. Give yourself 10 minutes throughout the day to where you just sitting and not focusing on any type of thought at all. It may seem impossible to the average person, but it's very possible to not think. Very possible. When you initially start trying to do it, that's the key word, trying. That's what we do. We try to do it. The moment you try to not think, you're going to think. That's normal. That's inevitable. So the key word, you can't try to do it. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. Jay, I would say yes, man. I would say, yeah, if you got problems breathing, I would definitely not smoke. Because that's one of, I'm gonna be for real with you, that's one of the reasons I never cared to smoke, because I had like asthma and bronchitis. So I had a lot of respiratory conditions. So smoking was not something that I aspired to do, because I knew that that would impact it. Like I was like, I'm good. So that's why I never had the desire or the urge to smoke, because I already had respiratory conditions, respiratory issues. But I pretty much solved those issues naturally. So Tavon, and then okay, and y'all, and I forgot another one. You got breathing, you got the water, you got the rest, and then posture. So another thing, that's another key element of life. A lot of us walking around with back issues, a lot of us walking around with neck issues, knee issues, and it all has to do with improper posture. So a lot of us right now are suffering physically because our posture is garbage. Like proper posture is also important, man. That's a whole other video though. Yeah, freezing the game, and that's, I mean, that, and that's how you, hey, when you pay attention to something, man, you notice how it affects your breathing. They even say that with certain foods, like it's like a test, man, to determine whether or not a certain food is bad for you, man. It's like checking your pulse and seeing how a certain food affects your breathing. Like certain foods may have a negative impact on your breathing, meaning that the food is not necessarily good for you. Deshaun, and I was just talking about that earlier. When you learn how to breathe properly in the weight room, or if you do cardio, whatever your thing is when it comes to fitness, it's going to take you to the next level. Proper breathing will take you to the next level. It will make a workout that seemed impossible very possible. K Spirit, peace, what's going on? Oh, most definitely. Gotta watch out. The way they polluted the air outside is crazy. That's one of the under the radar ways that they're trying to wipe us out, polluting the air. But that's a whole, again, it's another topic. That's another topic. TZ, appreciate that donation. You say every time I watch this channel, I learn something new. Get a good book recommendation. Hey, no doubt. I'm probably the book recommending king out here. If I'm not, I'm gonna strive to be it. I'm gonna strive to be it. I'm always recommending books, man. I keep books. I keep books all around me. Matter of fact, I got another book. Another book right here. The Future of Nutrition. T. Colin Campbell. If y'all don't know who T. Colin Campbell is, he wrote the book called The China Study. It's a very important book when it comes to people trying to be or striving to be plant-based or vegan. So this book, another good jewel. Future of Nutrition. Get that book, man. I'm always strapped with the book. I'm always strapped with them. See if I got some other joints on me. Nah. Oh, I got another joint on me. Y'all gonna appreciate this one. Legacy of the Black Gods. This is an important book right here. This book is real metaphysical, real deep. Legacy of the Black Gods, man. See, now they don't want me to recommend this book. Well, they don't want me to recommend any of the books that I recommend. But let alone this book, though. We stay with the books, man. We stay with the books. Yeah, Travian, no doubt, man. I had a cousin that stuttered a lot, but definitely slowing down works twofold. It's like the physical aspect of that, but you got to slow the brain down, and that's one of my problems. That's why I considered myself socially awkward. And one thing I realized, I don't like to place myself in a box, but a lot of people said some of the smartest people in the world were like socially awkward. They didn't do well with talking to people and things of that nature. And I always wondered like why that was, but I thought about it. I was like, man, when I'm having a conversation with somebody, man, it's so much that's racing through my mind. I have a hard time putting it into words. So a lot of times I would either stutter or I would say like the wrong thing because I have so much going on in my mind that I want to say. I have a hard time actually uttering it out and putting it into, you know what I'm saying, sentence form and whatnot, verbally. And when I started studying people, I realized that a lot of people that are so-called intelligent have or had this problem. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. But that's one of the reasons why I always pretty much deem myself socially awkward. It's like, man, I know what I want to say, but it never really came out that way a lot of times. So it's like in my mind, I was saying one thing, but then verbally I said a totally different thing. And it's like, dang, man, why did I say that? So I used to always do that. I still do that from time to time. But you just got to slow, like you said, slow the mind down, slow the brain down. Get your thoughts together. Then speak. So that mind be moving so fast, man, be moving so fast. Like my mind, like I'll be having a conversation and it'd be so much that I want to say, man. It's like, man, I want to hit him with this, that, and the third. And then I say something totally different that don't even involve the this, that, and the third that I wanted to say. Big old Peach, what's going on? Beautiful Goddess Keys, Miss Donnie, Peach Queens, what's going on? Always good to see the Queens coming into the building. That's always lovely, man. We show respect to the Queens around here. That's one thing that we must do. Miss Donnie, no doubt. Man, sleeping, man, it's a straight science to how you need to be sleep or how you need your room to be for you to sleep properly, man. It's a whole science of that, man. Electronics should be unplugged. The room should be at a certain temperature, like it should be cool, shouldn't necessarily be warm or hot. Like it's crazy. It's a whole science to how you need the room to be for you to sleep properly. Tony Briscoe, most definitely. First breath and the last breath, man. It's that simple. It's that simple. Freezing the game, man. That's what it is, man. And then on top of that, too, one thing I've also learned too is that at the end of the day, you're gonna be your own worst critic. But it's like I normally would beat myself over the head so bad, like that just started leading to like depression, all type of other negative stuff. So it's like I've also learned how to just accept slip ups. Like I no longer just beat myself over the head like when I slip up. I understand that that's a part of life. So it's like in the grand scheme of things, I'm working toward this change, but I know and understand that it's not going to happen overnight. So it's like, it's going to be a bumpy road. So I embrace that. So when I slip up, I'm like, cool, that was expected. Now I'm just gonna keep on grinding toward the goal, the greater goal. So I don't allow those things to get me down like it once would have. Because man, listen, I slip up and I'll focus on that slip up for like a week or 2 weeks, maybe even longer. Like I'll literally be mad at myself for slipping up. It's like, man, I knew, but I should have did that. Now I don't do that, man. It's like I slip up, so what, man? I'm bouncing back. Tomorrow, hey, it's a new day. It's a new second. It's a new hour. It's a new minute. I'm good. Not going to allow that slip up to define me. Yeah, Jay, most definitely. Overthinking is a problem. Just thinking too much is a problem. That's why it's best to have those periods to where you're just not thinking at all. As counterproductive as that may sound to some, man, not thinking at all is beneficial for your health. To the point where things become effortless, man. You doing things without thinking. Like that's when you start to master life. When you don't have to think to do certain things, man. When you just eliminate the act of thinking to indulge, like breathing. You do not have to think to breathe. If we did have to think to breathe, it'll be a problem. We wouldn't last long. But it's one of those unconscious things, man. So it's a lot of things in life that you need to try to make unconscious to where you don't have to think to do it. You just do it. So that's the aim, man. So if you got things that you are striving towards or for in life, you want to make it to where like the process, the formula, the things that need to be done to do it or accomplish it, you do it unconsciously without having to think to do it. So I'm telling you got to think to do these things. You're going to end up overthinking. You're going to end up thinking yourself right out of what it is that you need to do. Redbird, man, most definitely. And that's, again, drawn. They were drawn to Obama, man. They were drawn to him. You don't realize that. It was like hypnosis. They were drawn to Obama, man. Like the way that he spoke. They liked the way that he spoke. Obama is that's where he had that magnetism. Obama could have been, man, Obama could have been telling you the most destructive thing on the planet, but you just would have fooled with it because of the way he said it, the way he spoke it. Ms. Donnie, and that stranger was right and exact. That's what I tell everybody, man. Focus on the breathing. Focus on the breathing, man. If you focus on your breathing, you stressed out, focus on the breathing. You upset, focus on your breathing. Just focus on that breathing. Guarantee you all those problems are going to go away. Because again, you just start focusing on your breathing. You're not focused on those problems. You're not focusing on whatever it was that's stressing you out. Because now you focus on your breathing. And that's just a great thing to focus on. Oh, yeah, Magic Realms, man. Definitely the food you eat. Yeah, all of that affects your breathing. All of it. All of it. Hey, Jay, we always, monk mode. That's the way to be. The black monks. Oh, Shane, see, and that's exactly why I never indulged. Never. I wasn't going out like that. I knew that was one thing I never had the urge to do because of the respiratory issues that I had. Big field, stretching. That's another one. Now, that's one of the ones that I neglect. Stretching, boy. I'll be just ready to get straight to the money, but I'm getting better at it. I was just talking to father of someone that I train. I was like, man, I got to do better with the stretching. I know I need to do it, man. It's just like I don't do it. I be so pressed for time, be rushing it. So it's like, all right, stretch. Stretching is important. Because last thing you want to do is just pull something or injure yourself simply because you did not warm up properly. And then you need to cool down as well. So after your workout, now you want to cool down. That's when you want to do the static stretching, by the way. Y'all know what the static stretching is. You know, the stretching that where you don't move. Dynamic stretching is where you move and you do like the high knees, the walking lunges and things like that. You do the dynamic stretching before you lift, before you work out, do some intense training. Then you do the static stretching after you lift, after the intense workout. That's how you do that for those that don't know. Never do the static stretching before you work out, before you exercise. Do that after the fact. Serious mathematics of law. Peace to the God. Yeah, Jay, I was studying Qigong way back in the day, man. Qigong is peaceful science there. Sharif, man, you got it, man. It's a process. It's a process. Oh yeah, Tony Briscoe. Yeah, the blood flow is definitely important. Hence, one of the reasons why we was talking about like just proper breathing, the oxygen not being able to do what it needs to do, man. That actually affects your blood flow as well. That actually affects your blood flow. So that's why it's important to breathe properly, because your blood flow your blood flow is affected or impacted by your breathing. Kyle, peace. What's going on, man? Everything is peaceful my way, man. Everything is good. Hopefully everything is all good and peaceful on your end as well. Kyle, yeah, I've hit. Ooh, yeah, I've done that before, most definitely. Yeah, freezing the game, man. Always forgive yourself, man. I had plenty of clients, man. They be losing weight, man. Then they slip up, man. They had that weekend where they went crazy, and it's like, man, they act like it's the end of the world. I'm like, man, it ain't the end of the world, man. You good. You had your fun. You overindulged. Now what you gonna do about it? It's like, man, sitting around crying about the slip up is not going to reverse anything. So I always encourage people not to focus on the slip up, man. That's the wrong thing to do. To beat yourself up over the head for a slip up, man. It's time for us to just get over that, go on with our lives, man. Focusing on that slip up is not going to do anything about it. Lindell, man, I almost was one of those people, man. But sleeping is important. But like they said, man, the healthier that you are, the healthier that you eat, the less sleep that you need on a daily basis. So that's another thing that people need to realize and understand too. So the healthier that you are, the cleaner that you are, less sleep that you need. I'm not saying that you don't need any sleep, but you don't need as much sleep as they have advertised. You only start needing that much sleep when you're not taking care of yourself, because now your digestive system is overworked and it needs 8 or 9 hours to cleanse itself, man, to absorb and process all of the toxic foods that you have consumed. So that's for the people that's not taking care of themselves. The people that take care of themselves, man, we don't need all of that sleep. You might can do good on 5 or 6 hours. Redbird, what you say? You said, can you believe my neighbor brought up the fact I dropped the case of bottle of beer in Walmart? That was Friday when it happened. I can't stand being around people sometimes, man. Hey, I understand that 1,000%, man. People, and because one thing about it, man, you can't really control what people do or say, and a lot of people just do and say some trash things, man. So you can't really control that. Only thing you can do is control how you respond to it. And that's one thing that I'm really starting to learn. And at the end of the day, I have now fully realized that everybody outside of me and my immediate universe is really outside of my control. It's like a jurisdiction. I'm treating this thing like the police, man. If it's outside of my jurisdiction, I'm not really concerned about it. It doesn't concern me. I don't even care what's happening. It could be a lot of crime going on outside of that jurisdiction, but it's not my jurisdiction, so I'm not going to stress myself out over it. So that's how I'm starting to live my life. If it's outside of my jurisdiction, man, I'm not even entertaining it. It doesn't concern me. I'm not stressing over it. I'm not trying to help the person. Like, I'm not doing that because that's outside of my jurisdiction. See, I just spent too much time outside of my jurisdiction trying to help people that are ungrateful, whole while neglecting myself and my health. Not doing that anymore. Again, people gonna do what it is that people want to do. You can't say anything to make anybody do anything, man. So you might as well leave it alone. If people want to change, they gonna change. It's that simple. If you want to change bad enough, you are going to change by any means necessary, as Brother Malcolm said. Like at the end of the day, I realized I had to change. I needed to change. Guess what I did? I changed. I didn't change because somebody said something to me. No, I changed because I woke up one day, realized that I need to do something different. That's when I changed. That's when any and everybody change. That's when any and everybody changes. When they wake up and they realize that, man, I need to do something different. Whether it's something that occurred, that happens to them in life that makes them realize that, or they just wake up like I did and say, man, I need to do something different. I need to change. But at the end of the day, man, you cannot force anybody to do anything. So I no longer even try to do that. I really don't care who it is at this point. You're going to literally have to ask me a question. And initially, when you ask me the question, I may not even give you a thorough, in-depth response, because most of the time people ask for your opinion and they not really actually willing to listen to the opinion. They ask for your opinion. Then when you give it to them, they get upset about the opinion because it's not what they wanted to hear. So a lot of times I don't even waste my time because I got to gauge where you are at. If I give you my full blown out opinion on the matter and you don't receive it, then I just wasted that. So I'm going to give you some small responses first just to kind of gauge your interest, just to kind of gauge if you're serious about it or not. Then I may give you the real spiel if I feel like you're really receptive to what it is I got to offer. If I feel like you're not receptive, then I'm not about to waste my time. Done wasting my time with people who don't want to change, man, with people who don't want to listen, with people who don't want to grow, with people who don't want to evolve. It's not my responsibility to make somebody listen, to make somebody value evolution and embrace elevation. It's not my duty. That's not my job. It's just not. So I'm not going out of my way to make sure somebody values their health and values their evolution and their growth and development. I'm not going out of my way to do that. Master Tube, man, hey man, you missed. You gonna have to rewind this back, man. We was dropping some science. Oh, TZ, most definitely. You could tell. You could listen to the people that overeat. They're breathing is trash. You definitely hear them breathing and it's trash. Master Tube, I'm not by name, but if you probably define it and break it down, I probably have heard of it. Probably by a different name. Yeah, Jay, hey, stay away from that sodium. Stay away from that sodium, man. Now, again, that's another one of those under the radar killers. We be focusing on things like sugar. You know, they done made carbs the enemy, but you got to watch that sodium. Watch that sodium. Watch that sodium intake. I bet you, I guarantee you probably eat a lot more sodium than you think and than you know. Just look on the back of those products that you consume, and man, I bet you that sodium is a lot higher than it should be. That sodium be killing us. Hey, spirit, 100%. Less talking, more listening. But people do not strive to listen out here. Like the art of listening is dead. Art of listening is dead, and it's definitely an art. It's definitely a science. But people don't strive to listen these days. People do not strive to listen, and it's sad. It's unfortunate, but people do not be striving to listen at all. How do I know? Because I can't tell y'all the amount of times where I would have conversations with a person and they'll randomly bring up something to me that I may have told them weeks or months or years ago. And my response is always the same. Man, I told you that already. Or that's what I was telling you. Or that's what I said. I told you this weeks ago. I told you this months ago. So you know what man, people just don't listen. People don't listen. That's why I said when people are ready to change, they will change. That's when stuff starts resonating with them. So you can't force things to resonate with people. Things only gonna start resonating with people when they are ready for change. That's when they become receptive to the information. So that's why you can tell somebody a jewel and they don't pick up on it immediately because they're not ready to change. When they ready to change, they pick up on all the jewels. So when you like, it's like being ahead of your time. You told somebody something before they were ready. And that a lot of times that's what we do when we try to force information on people. We telling them something before they are ready to receive it. You got to start telling people things when they are ready to receive it, and they will let you know when they're ready to receive it. So we got to stop trying to dictate the readiness of somebody, man, when it comes to receiving the information. They'll let you know, man. I'm telling you, they'll let you know when they're ready to receive it. It's almost like y'all know I'm a trainer. I don't have to go. I can't force anybody to have me train them. What happens? People come to me. They say, man, I'm ready. I need a trainer. That's how life is, man. People gonna come to you when they ready for the change if they feel like you can help them. If they feel like you got some information that can help them, they gonna come to you when they are ready. It's plenty of people that need my services, man. Listen, I can go out there and find, like, if I walk into 10 people, all 10 of them probably need a trainer, but I'm not doing that. I get the people that come to me when they are ready. Freezing the game. You already know, man. We definitely don't subscribe to the mystery guide, man, but we definitely do some fasting. We definitely do some fasting, though. Swag piece, what's going on? And Magic, yeah, and this is crazy, man. You asked for my opinion, and now you're offended by the opinion. I don't deal with people like that, man. Once you give me that vibe one time, I'm pretty much done with you at that point. Like I said, man, I'm done. I'm done wasting breath. I'm done wasting energy on people, man. That's not open to what I have to offer. I'm no longer dealing with it. I don't really care who it is, man. If you're not open to what I have to offer, we gonna have a very dry conversation. I'm not about to say much to you. Freezing the game, 100%. That's why, hey, I'll be telling my black men that we got to do a lot better, especially when it comes to just taking care of ourselves and our health. We got to do a lot better. We got to do a lot better, man. We do all this fighting. Like, what's the point of fighting this system if we unhealthy? What's the point of fighting this system if we gonna continue to eat in a way that make us more susceptible to heart disease, heart attacks, diabetes, high blood pressure? Like, what type of fighting can we do when we on the verge of death? Like, we have the ability, like I said, the main causes of death. Like, we start focusing on the police, things like that. No, main causes of death are right in our control. Man, heart disease, you don't have to suffer from heart disease. We choosing to suffer from heart disease. We choosing to suffer from a lot of these cancers via our lifestyle choices. So we are choosing death at this particular point. Choosing death. So again, we like to focus on the cops, rightfully so, man, because they weak and wicked. They weak and wicked, man. But what about the causes of death that are in our control that we are doing absolutely nothing about? Once again, man, I was driving this morning and I saw the Burger King, what we call Murder King. I saw the drive-through and it was packed. I'm like, man, at this point, why are we doing, man, it's too early in the morning for this. There go that heart disease. There go that cancer. There go that diabetes. There go that high blood pressure right there. People making the choice to be in the Burger King drive-through early in the morning for breakfast. So you starting off your day with Murder King. And we talking about fighting for, like, man, what type of fighting you gonna do, man? We can't last 30 seconds. Can't last 30 seconds, man. So we gotta start making better decisions. And I'm talking to my black men on this, man. We gotta start making better decisions, man, because we making trash decisions, man. We walking around with these beer bellies and things like that, man, not doing anything to make sure our health is in order, man. Get your cardiovascular up. Stop just lifting weights to be swole, man. Get your endurance up. Work the heart. Get that cardio up, man. You got to have endurance and strength. You can't just have strength. You can't just be swole up top. Chicken legs at the bottom, man. We got to be balanced out here, man. We got to be balanced. You got to be centered. Have a strong foundation. Foundation is in the legs, not in your chest and your arms. So you got to have strong legs. You got to have a strong heart. So if you're not working out the legs and you're not doing something that stretches the heart out, because the heart is a muscle, then you doing this wrong. Oh, Denise, 100%, 100% agree. You say your friends get surprised and you disagree with them. And it's just funny too, because a lot of times, man, it's like people just be having a whole conversation. Y'all ever seen that, man? Somebody just having really a whole conversation with themselves, whether it's via like a text or it's like in-person dialogue, man. So it's really like they just talking to themselves and you just there. So they having a whole dialogue with themselves. And then when you finally intervene and let them know something that they said was like incorrect or that you disagreed, then it's like they are appalled. Because the whole time it's almost like they forgot you was actually in the room. Because they've been talking to themselves this whole time, man. They just hearing themselves talk. Then when you finally say, hold up, what you just said, I disagree, or that was incorrect, then they like, hold on, it throws them off. And I've been there, done that with a lot of people. Yeah, TZ Frank, man, sodium is just trash, man. That sodium hardens the arteries, stresses the heart, does all of that. Yeah, Magic Realms, man. Especially the older people get, man. You definitely get stuck in those ways, man. So the older people get, the more they are stuck in those ways, man. And that's not a good thing. That's why it's best to break them habits early, because it's a lot harder to break those habits as you age. Because now you 60 years, you got 60 years in the game with this bad habit. Mr. Road Peach, what's going on? Freezing the game, man. That minimalist life, that's something that I'm striving for as well. That's something that I'm striving for as well. Oh, Magic Rims, I get judged for the stuff I'm into all the time. I don't even care. That happened to me so much. I don't even care about that anymore. Yeah, Denise. And then even when they are confronted with the extreme circumstance, sometimes they still are not ready to listen. I have seen people pretty much on their deathbed still doing the same things that can cause the condition, which at that point they have pretty much given up. So when you start seeing that, that's a person that has given up. They feel like there is no hope. So it's like, man, you indulging in the very things that has led to this condition. That person at that point has given up. And that's sad to see. Denise, man, most definitely. I can give y'all some jewels on that I have picked up on via reading. Because like I said, I never had the urge to do it. Never did it. Because I always had little respiratory issues. So I was like, nah, anything that involves smoking, I was afraid of it, man, because man, I would y'all don't understand how far I've come in regards to breathing and just the respiratory issues that I had. I was bad off out here, man. Like I can't even make it up. I can't even make it up, man. I was bad off out here, man, as far as like my immune system was trash, man. My respiratory system, it was all trash, man. It was just all bad out here for your boy. Brandon, man, I kid you not, man. I'm telling you, I was on my way. I was on my way to my first session. My first session was at 9 a.m. So it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. The Murder King or Burger King drive-through was packed at like 8:30 in the morning. Why? Dude, at that point, if your only option is Burger King in the morning, it's best for you to just not eat. You should just practice intermittent fasting. Just go home and go to sleep. Like if you got to eat Burger King in the morning, like I said, it's just best to not eat. Just drink water. Don't eat the Burger King. There is nothing at Burger King that they offer at 8 o'clock in the morning or 8 p.m. at night that is good for you. Like, do not do that to your system, man. But the drive-through was packed, man. I was surprised. I'm like, man, I didn't even realize people still ate Burger King. I don't even know what does Burger King even have? But they were there 8:30 in the morning. I kid you not. Oh man, hey, y'all think it's a joke with the chicken legs, man. Every other dude that I walk into, they do not like exercising their legs. That is becoming a problem. Like I'm gonna have to hold a seminar or something. Like dudes really do not like training their legs, and that is the most crucial part of it. But like if you don't train your legs, then all this other training is irrelevant. If you have weak legs, you are weak. I don't care how strong, how much you bench press. If your legs are weak, I can knock you over easily. I don't care how much you bench press. Your legs are weak, I can easily knock you over. So it's like we gotta stop doing that. Master Two definitely be like Bruce Lee when it comes to training. The shine, health, hey, health is the only form of wealth to me. Yeah, swag, and a lot of people don't like balance. A lot of people do not like balance at all. Don't like balance, and I can't stress balance enough, man. You better deal with balance when you are exercising. Even the women, like they be so overly focused on the bottom layer. Nah, work out your arms, work out your shoulders, work out your back, do all of that. Work out all of your body parts. Like it's balance. Balance. That's what your body naturally strives for at the end of the day. Homeostasis. That is balance. Your body don't strive to be overly alkaline. It don't strive to be overly acidic. It strives to be right in the middle. It's balance. So you need to deal in balance, deal in equality with everything in life. So that's, man, that's important, man. But I could do like a whole other video on that one. Denise, yeah, I mean, I got every book by Bruce Lee. I got that book too. I got that book. Matter of fact, I was doing when it comes to Bruce Lee, I was doing like his train, like his weightlifting regimen. I was doing that for a period of time when I was in the gym, and he had a pretty solid yet basic weightlifting routine that he followed, man. I was following it for a minute. Bruce Lee, one of my main influences when it comes to like fitness. I got everything by Bruce Lee. Now that was somebody that was ahead of their time. This, people don't realize CrossFit, what people call CrossFit, like Bruce Lee deserves a lot of credit for that. Bruce Lee deserves a lot of credit for CrossFit, man. Do the knowledge to that. Bruce Lee deserves a lot of credit for CrossFit. Now I ain't saying some of that, but like the whole theory behind CrossFit, like high intensity training, the interval training, like Bruce Lee deserves credit for that. Because Bruce Lee did a lot of circuit training. Bruce Lee kind of popularized that. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that, man. But the circuits and all that type of stuff, moving from one station to the next with no rest, Bruce Lee, listen, Bruce Lee, he embraced that. He loved that. Lindell, man, listen, I'm gonna do you one better with Lindell. Not only why they make carbonated water, but why they sell us water in the first place. Why are we paying for why do we have to purchase water? Oh man, that's the thing right there about water. We literally purchase water. Literally. You can't even collect rainwater in certain areas, as we have discussed. So they literally make you pay for water. It's the world we live in. Trade get money. Ooh, you say, can you do, whoa, let me put it on the screen. Can you do a live about spiritual and afterlife experiences or what you think comes after death? I can definitely do something about that. Most people probably not going to like my response to that because it's not necessarily anything, I don't want to say fancy, but it's not promising. That's why I tell people right now to focus on the here and now. Because when it comes to afterlife experience and things like that, I don't have much to tell you. I don't have much to tell you because I'm not one of the ones that believe that we gonna come back in another life. Like I don't subscribe to any of that. I don't subscribe to any of that. So like my whole perspective on that, different ball game. Might not be what most people expect. People may call it gloomy. But I definitely don't believe we come back. I don't subscribe to us coming back. I don't subscribe. Y'all know I don't subscribe to the heaven and hell concept. None of that. Only thing that I would say can be considered like an afterlife is what you leave behind, like your legacy, whether it be the work that you left behind, whether it be the children. Like that's your afterlife. Like that's how I always define an afterlife. Your afterlife is your legacy that you leave behind. What exists after you leave? That's your afterlife. That is your afterlife, man. It's your legacy. So if I'm writing books and I'm putting out videos, you got children, like that's your afterlife. That's life after you. That's still connected to you. So the people that you touch, the people that you inspire, like that's afterlife for you. So my whole thing, that's why I tell people, man, make the best of the time that we have, because again, at the end of the day, we really don't know. we really don't know what happens after we cease to exist. So all of it is mere speculation. But what I can talk about is the here and now, and that's what I can focus on. That's why I just embrace it, and I encourage everybody else to embrace it. Hey, Robert, man, hey, I always appreciate you tapping in. Yeah, Denise, most definitely, man. Like I said, a lot of people, I'm always one with the unpopular opinion. I used to read, man, listen, I used to read, I was all with the spiritual crowd. I was with them. I was with the I'm not religious, I'm spiritual crowd for the longest, dealt with a lot of metaphysics, studied a lot of different religions. And at the end of the day, man, most of that stuff is really trying to convert you over to their way of thinking. That's what it boils down to. So when you start studying religions, most of the time when you read about these religions, all they about to try to do is convince you that why their religion is correct and why everybody else is pretty much false. Even when it's like the underground version of it, like when it's the Gnostic Christianity, it still revolves around them pretty much trying to force their perspective on you at the end of the day. Even when it comes to the spiritual books and the metaphysical books, it's like people trying to force that perception and that perspective on you. And listen, I ask a lot of, I question everything. That's why philosophy was one of my better subjects in college, because I questioned everything. That's why my philosophy teacher pulled me to the side and was like, man, you should consider double majoring and adding philosophy to your major, because I'm not about to accept something because it sounds good. And a lot of times, and that's what happened when people drop religion. I'm gonna tell you what happens, because this is how it always happens, because I see it. I seen it with myself and with others. When you drop religion, the next closest thing to it, you dealing with the spiritual stuff. That stuff starts sounding real good, because a lot of that you can just substitute it for the things you were once believing in. So again, like I said, instead of you saying God, you be saying the universe. Instead of you start talking about angels, and then you start talking about energy. Like you just substituting words, but you literally saying the same thing. That's why it's so easy to gravitate toward that. That's why it's so easy to say, oh, okay, I can easily drop this religion because I'm gonna just go to the spiritual side. Because you just start substituting certain things, but you're saying the same exact thing. Same exact thing. And you literally are making a religion out of spirituality. And that's what has happened. When people, I kid y'all not, the people that say I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, those are some of the more complicated people to have conversations with. I'd rather talk to the religious person than them, because you cannot tell them anything. I know y'all have had conversations with said individuals. You hard pressed to be able to get through with them on anything, man. It's hard to talk to them. Tay, definitely focus on that breathing. But man, I can have a video for like 6 hours on this whole spirituality, metaphysics, man, because I was into all of that, man. I had to go back in the chamber to go find some of the books, man, that I was reading, man. But I was into all of that, man. Ancient myths, ancient history, Atlantis, Lemuria, like stuff like lost civilizations, man. I was Mayans. I was into all of that, man. I was studying all of that. I was studying all of that. I was studying all of that, man. People really just people don't people don't understand, man. A lot of this stuff, man, we done made a religion out of a lot of this stuff, but yet we criticize religion. So that's the thing about it. You criticize religion. You say I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, but then you sound just like the people that you criticize. So as we say, man, I study life around me, man. I deal with life, man. I learn from life. I study life. That's what I do. And whatever it is that I'm studying, I see how I can apply it to myself. That's it. That's all. If I can't apply it to myself, then I leave it alone. That's why when it comes to think, like when people start debating about the like not the origin of civilization, but like the Big Bang theory, man, how everything came into existence. Like, man, why? The only thing that I'm gonna do on that is I'm gonna subscribe to a theory that makes sense to me, and I'm gonna roll with it. But I'm not about to debate it because I was not here. I wasn't here at the like I wasn't here. And that's another thing too, man. Y'all gonna get me started on a whole. Y'all gonna listen. Y'all gonna get me venting on a whole other. This wasn't even supposed to be that, but y'all gonna give me the venting on something else too when it comes to that. A lot of times we be so overly focused on the beginning. Who's to say there was a beginning? Who's to say it, like as we say, it always was, always will be? Who's to say this didn't always exist? Who's to say it had to be a beginning to this? Who's to say it had to be a start? Who's to say that? So a lot of times, like, man, it'd be stuff like that, man. It'd be a lot of situations like that, man. They say, well, how did everything come into existence? Who's to say it wasn't always in existence? So a lot of people can't answer that. So a lot of people because I done had this, man. A lot of people was trying to drill me with questions when they start figuring out what I was subscribing to. So they'll be like, man, well, how did everything get in existence then? How did everything come into existence? I'm like, well, okay. So who's to say it wasn't always like this? How can somebody disprove that? So people be wanting me to prove how things came into existence. Prove to me that it wasn't always this way. Like that's hard for somebody to do. But a lot of times people be trying to it's always like the religious or spiritual folks, man. They always try to go back to that, man. It's the reason why all this stuff is in existence. It has to be because some greater power created it. No. No, that's not necessarily true. And then they start talking about science as if science can be corrupted and if science can be paid, like the scientists can be paid off. And then when it comes to like legit science, like actual honest science, just because science can't explain something doesn't mean there's some mysterious force behind it either. So that's another thing too, man. Just because you can't explain something don't mean it's a mysterious force behind it. It simply just means we cannot explain it yet. There were plenty of things that we were not able to explain that we figured out and can now explain. Because y'all know we once thought everything revolved around Earth. Then we came to find out that everything revolved around the sun. So come on now, So come on now, people that really don't understand what science is. A lot of people think when we start talking about we deal with science, a lot of people think when we say that we deal with everything. I don't want to say everything that's right and exact, but when it comes to dealing with science, you actually, as a scientist, you are actually trying to disprove something. Like you are literally actually trying to disprove it. You are actually trying to find reasons as to why this is not true. That is what science is all about. So like if I'm doing the knowledge to veganism as a scientist, I'm actually trying to study reasons why veganism is not bad. I'm actually trying to disprove it. That is what I'm doing as a scientist. I'm actually trying to say, okay, veganism is bad. I need to disprove veganism being healthy. When it stands the test of time, when you're trying to disprove it and you can't, that's when it becomes a viable option. So when you didn't try to disprove or when you didn't try to prove veganism to be something that's harmful, yet you can't, then that's when you say, okay, veganism is the healthy option. It's a healthy option because we tried to disprove it, with all the evidence lines up in its favor. So we cannot disprove it. So literally when people don't understand that as a scientist or dealing in science, like we are actually trying to disprove things. Like we are actually open to that. You are open to that as a scientist. We are all scientists, but you should be open to that though. You should be open to somebody saying the way that you living is wrong. Then that's cool. Okay, let's try to figure out why it's wrong, how it's wrong. Because I'm waiting for you to tell me how I'm living is wrong so I can alter it. Like that's what science is all about. That's what science is all about. Like I'm always open to change. I'm always open to evolve. I'm always open to grow. That's what science is all about. Like I said, they once subscribed to the earth being at the center. Then it became the sun. Science is honest. How many times have you seen religion change? But we didn't see science change over time all the time because science, true science, you open to change. How many religions have changed their Bibles, changed their Qurans? It's remaining exactly the same. It's remaining exactly the same. You ain't finna come out and change the core belief in a religion or the core belief in like a spiritual system. It's gonna remain exactly the same. But when it comes to science, man, it's plenty of theories and whatnot. There's plenty of things in science that have been altered and been changed. So that's why I subscribe more to the science route, man, because science is more open to change than all these other belief systems. Man, you can't change. You can't tell somebody, hey, this Christianity is like this thing in the Bible is outdated. It should be changed. It should be altered. They're not trying to hear that. Not trying to hear that. So that's why I deal more with like honest science, man, because it's more open to change. As a scientist, you able to say, man, we believe that the earth was at the center, but after further investigation, we found it to be the sun. That's honest. That's honest. You ain't about to hear religion say, well, we once believed that earth was 6,000 years old, but after further investigation, we really actually figured out that it's actually billions of years old. See, they don't do that. They don't do that. They about to try to justify everything that's in their holy book, and you can't alter it. And you can't say that it's wrong. They can't change it. They got to stick to that script. I don't fool with anything like that. Like, I don't deal with anything like that, man. Science, you dealing with experimentation. You experiment. You come up with a hypothesis. You say, all right, I need to get my health in order. In order for me to get my health in order, I study these foods or this way of life. They say vegans tend to, like when you go vegan, you tend to decrease your chances of acquiring all these diseases. So, okay, that's the hypothesis. So now I'm about to experiment on myself. I'm about to see if this is true. I got all of these ailments, so let me incorporate this plant-based living. If it works for me, then I can say, okay, veganism works for me. If it doesn't work for me, then I can say veganism doesn't work for me. Back to the drawing boards. Like, that's science. That's science, man. Science ain't really about right or wrong. It's about what you can prove, man, through experimentation. So it's about creating that theory, man, and testing that theory out. We testing theories around here, man. We experimenting. But like I said, man, that's a whole different spiel. Hey, serious mathematics, actual facts, actual and solar facts. You say the ancestry.com sites. You know, the way I feel about those, I feel like for the most part, just studying history, I pretty much already know my origin and things of that nature. So I always just deal with being an original man. Outside of that, I don't really care about the specific tribe that I came from. Not doing anything for me for real. And they pretty much making a lot of money out of off of people when it comes to that ancestry.com stuff, man. I just know I'm the original man and I know what that embodies and what that entails. I'm good knowing that. All I got to do at that point is study the history of the original man, study the history of the original woman. I come from that lineage. I don't care about the specific tribe because I know how diverse we are as a people. So all I need to know is I come from the lineage of the original man, the original woman, and I study that history, and I'm a part of that. So outside of that, I don't really care to figure out what I got in me, you know. Especially when you really do the knowledge of DNA and things of that nature. Oh, Denise, 100%, man. I got a lot of books that talk about the scientists being paid off and things like that, man. A lot of people don't understand that, know that. So that's why some people hit you with the science says, whoa, but those scientists were paid off. They were paid to fabricate the data to make it lean in a certain direction. So a lot of people don't know that. V77 Scorpio, man, I ain't even touched the surface when it comes to talking like that, man. Because like I said, I used to deal heavy with that stuff, man. You Master Tube, you say, do I believe in the ancestors? Master Tube, I'm gonna break this down simple and plain. Then I'm gonna just go ahead and log off for tonight. Let y'all get y'all some rest along with myself. But Master Tube, I don't necessarily believe in anything. Belief is not a part of like my life. I either know something or I don't. Simple and plain. I don't believe in anything. Now, when it comes to the ancestors, I know for a fact that there are great people that existed before me that passed. So I know that. I don't have to believe in that. When it comes to communicating with the ancestors and what people call spirits and all of that, I don't necessarily deal with that. I just deal with energy and I deal with DNA. I know at the end of the day that within my DNA, I have access to all types of information that were passed down from my ancestors. That's what DNA is all about. So at any given time that I want to tap into that, all I got to do is practice those relaxation techniques and tap into that DNA if I want access to that information that was given to me via the ancestors or that was passed down to me via my ancestors. So that's not necessarily something that I need to believe in. It's something that I know to be an actual fact. So I don't even deal with belief. Like I said, I either know something or I don't. A lot of people don't understand that concept at all either, man. But I'll break that down in another video. But with that being said, y'all, like I said, man, I done did some building, man. Y'all done brought up some topics that I'm gonna touch on that I'm gonna touch on in my next videos, man. I appreciate all that, man. I appreciate all the comments, donations, all that good stuff, man. I appreciate y'all always. It's always a peaceful stream, man. Y'all are, hey, peaceful vibes all around, man. So this was a peaceful Sunday night stream, man. I appreciate y'all taking the time out to tune in to your boy. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the night, man. Got a busy day ahead of me in the morning and in the evening tomorrow. So I may tap in with y'all again tomorrow. Who knows? Depends on how I'm feeling. Depends on the time that I have. But y'all be easy out here, man. Y'all get some rest in, and I may catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.